my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and I'm joined with Mark from Suddenly Comics. And yeah, we formerly known as the Price Variants. We haven't actually used that for a while, so I figured I'd bring it back. Um, so,
I use
uh,
it every week, Alan, but
well, sometimes we don't really mention it that often. So
no,
I,
I mentioned it in the blurb.
oh, okay. Well, I don't mention it enough, I guess. So I'm bringing it back for myself. Only me. Um, So yeah, this we're back to normal where I'm going first and you're going second. You picked a bad week to do that
I know
because
I spotted that. I should have done it. I should have kept my powder dry until.
just one more week and you would have been fine. Um, but yeah, this week, yeah, there's some bugs on the chart. So yeah, but that's life. Um, so yeah, I hope you let's get right into it. Let's just get into the
Okay.
list. This is the
Uh,
hottest Silver Age comics of the week. Some pretty cool books. Some pretty cool books, like some ones that I hadn't seen ever. Um, this first one, I there was actually three different Archie books that I was kind of debating about which one to choose. I chose this one because it's the cutest. I base, like how you become a hot book is be really cute cover. This is a really cute Harry Lucy cover. It's just it doesn't even say it on the slab, but it is a Harry Lucy cover. Just a really cute, um, Betty and Veronica, you know, uh, can you read the joke?
yeah. Veronica certainly is annoyed with Archie, but Arch has hardly looked at her all evening. That's what's annoying her. Very sexy looking Betty here.
Hmm.
And mind you, Veronica's not looking too bad, but I wouldn't want to go back in the car with her.
Yeah, yeah. She has a. I like the fact that they got the little fuming things above her.
Yeah.
This is a really cute cover. I like Harry Lucy's art style. He draws women's waists really slim. It's like very reminds me of that sort of 50s
Well,
kind
it's
of
the
like
hourglass. It's the 1950s hourglass figure, isn't it?
yeah. So this one I just thought was a really cool one. And a high grade too, actually. Like these Archies, you don't usually see them in like above a six like this. It's quite rare. So it's quite nice to see.
This sold for 149, Alan.
Yeah, I mean
Very
that seems like a
reasonable
good
to me.
price. I mean, I think somebody got a nice good price on it. I don't think it's that high or that low, or it's sort of a good price, I'd say.
Have a look. Yeah, what grade was it? 6.5.
6.5.
I've got a feeling there's only going to be one.
I Yeah, one of one. Um, we can
Yeah,
check like okay, so one of one, it's a new record. Hey,
it is a new record.
you know,
There's only four on the census.
yeah, you're only gonna get this graded at high grades, obviously.
Well, the highest grade graded is a 7.5, so
Yeah.
higher than a 7.5.
So as I said, these Archies in like what did I say at the very beginning? If they're hard to find in higher grades. Uh, so yeah, this exactly proves my point. How much does the 7.5 go for?
7.5. I went, I think, for $408 a year ago.
Okay, so then I would go that this is a little bit down then.
Yeah, no, it went for $400. No, oh, not no, no, in May.
Okay, so if a 6.5 goes for around 150 and this is like 400, you would have expected the 6.5 to go for around 200.
Hmm. Yeah, so that was, I think you're right. I think it was a good price.
Yeah. So it is a record, but maybe somebody got a good price. I wouldn't say like amazing price, but a good price.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, on to the second comic. I like that one. Adventures of the Big Boy.
I saw this, I was like, oh wow, that is just too cool. This is like one of those promotional comics, that the different
Oh, like
this
you
is
get when you buy a pair of shoes or something.
yeah, but this is Big Boy. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Big Boy in the UK. It's sort of like a big it's like a burger joint.
Oh, right. No, I wasn't familiar with that. Okay.
Actually, the I believe it's Big Boy that was the very first Funko Pop as well.
Really?
And people can comment and tell me if I'm wrong on that. But the very first Big Boy, Funko Pop was a like a promotional item that they created
All
for
right.
Big
So this
Boy.
character here is like Ronnie McDonald, is he?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see it's like
Oh,
a
you
free
got it
giveaway
free. You
comic.
got it free with your burger.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't that kind of cool?
Yeah, it is.
Uh, I mean, these things like though they mass produce them, like these would be
Oh,
mass
there's gonna be
produced.
huge numbers of these because it was like a promotional leaflet. I mean, how many big boy outlets are there?
There's I think it's not a huge franchise, but it is, it's an American thing. We don't have them in Canada, for example.
No, we don't have them in
Um,
the UK either.
yeah, but this is one where a lot of these don't get saved. They're given to little kids. The little kids read them and then they get tossed
Yeah, well,
for the
most of
most
them
part.
will have been left on the in the restaurant with the burger tray.
Uh-huh. Usually the way that these ones come out, like this is I think a high grade copy, is what happens is there's like either a warehouse find or some like
Yeah,
file copy kind of
yeah, because
situation.
this is a 9.6 and it is. I think it does. It say it's a file copy? I think it does. Yeah, it's a file copy.
Yeah. So that, and if you look, I think it's the only one on the census. Like
We're
it's
gonna be all right for another record then, Alan. Uh,
yeah, it's an interesting book.
there are
Well, it is up, but how many on the census?
one.
One. Yeah, one of one.
It's one of one. So somebody's done okay with it. I mean, they bought it for $178 21 years ago, and now they've
Hmm.
sold it for $228. So,
Yeah,
mm, o-
not not quite as good
21
as
over
inflation.
21 years, they've made
Mhm.
$50.
Not the best investment, by the way, but um,
I
yeah,
think they probably have done better than that by putting $128 in the bank.
probably actually. At least you'd probably almost break even on inflation. Um, but I thought this was cool. I don't really show that many promotional comics on these lists. I thought every so often it's kind of a cool thing to think about because there are people that collect these things, and it's just sort of one of those things that you might find these in the wild
Yeah,
where they're in
you
like
might
some
find them
dollar
really
bin.
cheap. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I actually found there was some uh you know um sale that was going on at like one of my local comic shops, and they had like a long box, and it had some of these promotional comics, and some I actually knew because I collected them.
Hmm.
Like they had like uh ones that were actually mentioned in the Seduction of the Innocent, and they had them at $5. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm like
Yeah. Well,
yoink.
exactly. I'd never seen these in the UK because I don't think they did them in the. But anyway, I was watching an online auction, at an auction house. So there was a whole load of lots, and one
Hmm.
of the lots, I had two lots of a thing called March of Comics,
Oh,
which
okay, I know that.
which are
Yeah,
little
yeah.
things like
Yep,
this, which they're given away with shoe stores.
yep. Those
But
are
it went
very
on for
collectible.
ages. It went on for ages. It went on from sort of 1950 through to the 1980s. So there were a
Hmm.
big run of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, I bought an auction lot, and I think I paid about £3 or £4 each for them, uh,
Okay.
and I got quite a lot of them. And I'm looking through them, and I'm just checking them, and I look at one of them, and it says $500. So I checked it.
What?
It's an Astro Boy from 1967, and it must
Okay.
be one of the first appearances of Astro Boy.
Yeah, I mean, his original comic was just a one shot.
Right. Well, this was a March of Comics from the mid 60s, and it sells for $600.
The ones that you should look for, and I actually helped somebody get X-Men #1 with this. Was the same shoe store kind of things where
Yeah.
it's or with Archie.
Right.
Some of
Okay.
those Archie ones are really, really valuable.
Yeah.
Crazy prices.
Yeah.
He picked
Just
it up.
again, presumably not many of these survived because people just give
Yeah.
them to the kids with a pair of shoes or while
Well,
they
he picked it up for $5 and sold it for 6,000.
what?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, you know. That's why, so like the reason I when I put these lists together, I actually think about these things, and I want people to be aware. Look for these promotional comics. There's some really, there's some gold in those hills, right? It's like these are, you know,
Yeah, but it is
some
about
pretty cool.
finding the nugget.
Yeah.
I bought about 40 of these things, and most of them are worth what I paid for them, three or
Oh
four.
yeah, they're worthless, but
The Mr. Ed and
yeah,
there's
yeah.
Bugs Bunny and and Little Dot and things like that. But yeah,
Hmm.
but I just thought they were cute and they were in good condition as well.
Oh,
Uh,
that's important.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah. So the Astro Boy I got, I've sent off to CGC for grading. Um, the little
Yeah.
Marvel Comics one because an 8.0 sold for, as I said, an 8.0 sold for about $800 earlier this year.
Oh, nice.
I think mine's better than an 8.0.
Oh, wow. That'd be cool. You gotta update us when
Yeah.
you get it
Yeah.
back.
So
I
do
think that'd
watch
be
out
cool.
for these promotional things. Don't just dismiss them.
Yeah, that was the point that I was trying to make. So yeah, that was a cool. So we got two records in a row.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
my goodness.
these records where it's one of one, I'm not so sure.
Not really the best, but oh well.
If you get a record on this, Alan, I'll be impressed. Right.
This one will be a little harder to get a record on. But this one's interesting because it's an old label. Like
I really love this comic. I think it's undervalued as a Doom comic.
yeah, yeah, to me this is a really cool one because this is a great Doctor Doom cover. You got his little castle thing, he owns that little country,
Latveria.
right?
They're in Latveria, aren't they?
Latveria, yeah. I I think it's just really cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I love that cover. And the
Yeah.
Doom covers are doing well at the moment.
Yeah, so that's why this on the list. I kind of put this list as a very speculative list. Um
I mean, it's a beautiful copy. I think that is probably, I mean, it's a 9.4, but I can't see anything wrong with it.
9-4. And sometimes when people see these old labels, they'll actually overpay for them on
Oh, yeah, there's
purpose.
a bit of wear around the staple.
Okay. But what I was going to say is sometimes they'll overpay for them just because they think, hey, this is probably before when people were pressing them,
Yeah,
and
but
they'll try to crack and press, and get that maybe grade boost. Because if you can get this to 9.6, you're doubling your money, right?
yeah, true, true. But this isn't that pricey a book usually.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's still a few hundred.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So yeah.
336. I think that's probably okay.
I think it's probably down just based on everything Marvel being down. But
It's on flat.
yeah, actually, it's actually this there is no COVID bump
Nope.
for this one.
Well, and that's that one there. No,
But
oh
it
yeah,
really didn't drop
that's
that
the
much.
COVID bump there.
Yeah. But it really didn't. It's not like ones where we see these massive
No, it
spikes
wouldn't
and
appear.
then yeah, it's like way up.
I think we
Oh
might see
wow.
a record on this before the end of next year.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty good trend line for
Yeah,
this book.
yeah. Especially if you
Um
look at pre-COVID. So at pre-COVID, we were at 157, and it's now solidly setting itself around the 300.
300. So it's basically double
It's double. It
pre-COVID
hasn't.
pricing.
This is not coming down from the COVID peak.
Wow, nice. Nice. That's actually really impressive. And it probably was one of those books that was sort of undervalued, and this renewed attention to Doom kind
Yeah,
of made it. We both agree that it's a cool cover.
but it's a
So
cool cover, and cool covers eventually do, find a decent
find
mark.
their way. Yeah. Well, what's the census count on this one?
I bet it's not that high.
Yeah, it's a sort of a weird
Yeah,
issue number, right?
655, and that'll be just
That's really low.
yeah, just because people haven't submitted it for grading. Because
Yeah, it's there's not enough value there,
historically, if
right?
you look at pre-COVID, even in this grade, this was $150 book. So you know
You're not going to get a grade
you're not
unless
going
you
to get
have
it
above a
graded. A
nine.
9.4 is going to only get you $150. You're not going to grade a 7 or a 6.
Hmm. Wow. But still, yeah, that's a good one. I kind of like that. So, Definitely one to look out for.
Yeah, indeed. I've got one of these by the looks of it. I don't know what grade it is. Right. GI Combat.
Okay, so this is a raw copy, by the way.
Yeah.
I actually just picked up a raw copy of this. So I actually this is me putting a book of my own on. This is not the copy I bought,
Isn't
but
the one you bought, Alan?
no, it's not the one I bought, but I picked this up recently because I kind of wanted to, I was FOMO'd by like Steven. Okay, Steven's been in my ear just me, and just like he gets me sort of like thinking about certain books. And he was talking about the Haunted Tank.
Yeah.
And this is actually the very first cover appearance of the Haunted Tank.
Yeah, it's not the first haunted tank because I
No,
came across the first
yeah.
haunted tank
Mhm.
I found it in an auction, and I
Oh,
thought
nice.
nobody else is going to have spotted this, and unfortunately somebody had, and it went beyond the price that I was prepared to bid. That's
Oh,
it's a crazy
that
expensive
sucks.
book.
It's a big book. The fans of the Haunted Tank really love it, so it goes for big money, and it's not one that you find easily. It's
No,
actually a pretty
it's
hard
got
book.
no tank on it. It's an air battle.
Yeah, and it's a hard book to find, is my
Yeah,
point. Um, yeah, but this one is cool because it's that first cover appearance,
yeah, and it's a
right?
cool cover. I love the colors.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought this was the next best thing, so I picked it up. But then when I saw it actually selling at Heritage, wow, I was like, oh, I actually got it for a steal. I think I paid like 40, $50. And mine's not that much lower grade. So yeah, I was kind of happy with myself.
Yeah, that was
That's why it's on the list.
yeah. Well done, Alan.
Yes, exactly. Um, so yeah, so this is a raw copy. Um, I don't want to put down Heritage too much, but I am not necessarily impressed by their grading services, by the way that they grade their books. I've had a lot of like raws from them where I feel like it's slightly lower than what they say it is. Um, that's always a caveat that I have to say. So I generally prefer not to buy raw books from Heritage
Yeah,
unless I can get a good price on it. Um, so this one is graded as a fine, I believe fine plus maybe.
fine plus.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah. So that's a 6.5.
yeah.
Um,
It's got some
now,
problems on the edge.
yeah.
Um,
So let's look. Let's
borderline.
see if we feel like it's a six
See, I
five. Look at that.
personally,
Look at that spine.
that spine is not good. I personally would have graded that a 5.5.
I would even. I'm not sure if that's a split or if that. There's some issues there,
I
and
don't think it's
you can
split.
see that there's some like go up a bit on the staple there. Is that coming detached on the staple there? When you see that kind of
Starting.
tearing in.
Yeah, it's starting. Yes.
Yeah, and then at the very bottom of the book, you can see that there's actually a tear that goes slide over. Yeah, you got to see how right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
This
would
is.
agree this may be a 4.5 to 5.0 range.
Yeah, I think you're being a bit
Um,
harsh. I'd have probably gone 5.05.
I'm a pretty strict grader, um, so yeah, so this is one of those things. I'm putting it out there. Um, you know, I'm gonna get so much hate mail from Heritage, but it's just a thing. I'm not always impressed by their grading. Um, I That's why I like my comic shop so much. They undergrade their comics all the time. Like
Right.
if you get a 5.0 from their end, it's a my comic shop grading. It's probably a 5.5 or 5.6 or 6.0. I mean, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
this, not so confident with. So I'm just putting that out there. And whenever you look at a raw book, like this is another thing I had to like. It's good to have these on the list every so often. You had to think of the grading costs. So it's not a 1-to-1. You can't say, oh, this is a 6.5, and therefore it
No, no.
should go
You've
for
got $40 plus your time and effort.
a mail costs, all that kind of stuff. So there's a bunch of things that you got to think about. And if you get it, pressed or whatever, the cleaning and pressing, that's always costs money. So add at least $50 to the price.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so that's my little rant I had to do.
Alan's on his hobby horse. We'll
Yes.
go on and have a look and see how it did on price, and it's down.
Oh, well,
Well,
com-
okay, even if I add on $60 for the grading,
so wait, what was it? What did this one sell for? It sold for 330, right?
this one sold for oh, well, I'm looking at the wrong one, I think.
No, no, go back. Ah, go back. No, no, you're on the wrong, way on the wrong title.
Oh,
Way,
well,
way, way over. Right there. One more over. 336.
oh, that's okay then.
Okay. And what was the last sale?
Well, this is
Last peak.
this hasn't been put on the chart yet, so this is
No,
two.
it's not going to be on the chart
Oh,
because
it's
it's a
not going
raw
to be on the
copy.
chart. So the last sale was 226,
Yeah. So this is way higher than the last
which is the graded copy.
graded copy
Yeah.
sale.
Yeah, but
And
that,
look at
that one was
the look
way
at the
down. That one was way down on the previous one, which was
yeah, and look at the peak sale. What's the peak sale?
400.
400. So this is right in line with that peak sale.
It is, yeah. Yeah. So
Um,
this one looks like it's an outlier.
and if we're right about the grading, you know,
Oh, wait a minute. That's his 5.5. Did we say?
oh, 5.5. So actually, if we're right about the grading, this is probably in line with it.
Yes.
Actually, I would have put it still lower. I would have said maybe I'm saying 4.5 to 5.0. That's me. Just based on what I saw, the flaws that I saw.
Well, let's use the old droid grading of 5.5,
Yeah, I
which is between the heritage grading and the Pollitt grading.
yeah. But if we look at the 6.5, just to like give them the benefit of the doubt, what's the price?
375.
So this is, still,
There's not much difference between the 5.5 and the 6.5, to be honest.
yeah. Some of these books have a lot of that price compression. Um, but if you look at the census on this book, it's really quite low.
105.
Yeah, it just shows you how hard of a book this is to find. And that when you get this kind of book that's a little hard to find, and it's one of those books you only get graded if it's above like maybe a 5.0. It's kind of in that price range where a 5.0 higher, you get it graded. There's going to be, it's almost like what we see in the golden age where you see like from a 1.0 all the way up to a 3. It's almost like the same price because it's price compression. Well, this is the low grades of this book where it's kind of got that price compression from maybe a 4.5 all the way up to 6.5.
Yeah.
So just something, I don't know. I thought it was cool.
No, it's cool. And these are the ones I type. These are useful for me because these are the type of ones we talk about them on this show. And I've got
Hmm.
a good visual memory. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I can, might be in 18 months' time, I might be looking at a random stack of GI combats. And I'll see
And
that cover and go, hang on a minute, that's something. I might not know exactly what it is, but I'll know that I've seen it before, and probably know it's going to be some sort of key. And then I'll check it and I'll find out it's the first cover appearance of Haunted Tank. So it's quite useful, this. Just
yeah, I do the same thing. It's interesting. Like, if you see a cover enough and you're like, I know that book from somewhere.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a key of some description. I
Yeah.
can't remember what it is. I'm going to check it up. Right. Okay.
Hmm.
Next.
Is that 5?
No, I
Or
think.
this
Oh,
last
is
one, I
it
guess.
five?
Yep.
Wait a minute. One, two, three. No, I think this is five.
Yep. Okay.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Okay. So this
How are the
one
mighty
is,
fallen?
I feel like this is like, I want to put this on the list just because it is The Mighty Has Fallen. I remember this being like a $1,200 book in this grade. So, um, yeah, this is a cool book. It's just sad to see it not being so cool.
I,
I
I
just put it
think
on the list for
I
that
think this
reason.
is in the candidate for being the worst performing comic over a period of 4 years ever.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
I think
Just
there's going to be
so
few that
much
have
went
got us.
wrong with this one.
It all went Pete Tong, as they say.
This is one of those books where everything was set up to make this book super, super valuable. In a way, they set Kang up to be the next Thanos.
Yep.
And they actually did more for Kang than they ever did for Thanos in terms of like promotion.
Yeah.
They did multiple TV series about it. They did a movie, and they were setting him up to be this major bad guy,
Yeah.
and everything just everything backfired. It was like backfire in the movies, backfire in the TV series, backfire with the actor. It's like, what else can go wrong with this one? So I kind of put this on the list because I want to show you how spec can totally fail.
Right.
um
Just show how badly this comic has done. What grade was it? A 4 5.
4 or 5, yeah.
Look at that graph, Alan. I
Okay, so what was that peak that we see way up
so
there?
at one stage this was $1,849.
Yeah, I remember it at 1,200. So wow, the fact that it was actually even higher than what I remember is
And that was
insane.
in September 2021. So over 3 years, this has consistently gone down.
I think it's below COVID
It
numbers,
is below
pre-COVID.
COVID. Yeah, it is 305. Is that what it sold for?
No, it's sold for four something,
Oh, 456.
456.
Oh, okay. So there's one after this that sold at 305, Alan.
Oh, oh,
Um,
jeez.
Actually, this 456 sale was a bit higher than the surrounding ones, but
Okay,
still, I mean, even at 456, at 305, that's lower than COVID.
pre-COVID,
Way
yeah.
lower than pre-COVID. Yeah.
What's pre-COVID price for this book?
Pre-COVID, I'm going to be generous and say pre-COVID is 367.
Okay, so actually this is still in technically above pre-COVID with this
Yeah.
sale.
Well, this one is, the previous two weren't. Uh,
Yeah,
so look at that graph, Alan. Isn't that horrendous?
that is like, uh I think of the 1920s, or like the end of the 20s where people are jumping out of windows.
That's right.
That's what the free fall looks like
I mean,
when
anybody,
you're jumping out of a
what this
window.
means is anybody who has bought this comic between September 2021 and September 2024 has lost money.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Now, you should have been watching us because we've been saying, don't catch the falling knife.
This one is.
Wait for it.
I wouldn't touch this book still. I think
Oh,
they.
no, no,
I
no, no, no. That 426, that 456 we just looked at was a good sale. The next sale after it, uh,
Yeah, I think it's going to balance out at around 350. By the way,
the following day sold for 306.
yeah, I think it's going to balance out at 350. That's kind of where it's going to kind of find its little new floor. Um, but yeah, this is not a good spec, which is such a sad thing. I mean, Kang had so much like it could have been cool. I love time travel. I
Yeah.
love like these like I love the idea of a character being like a historical figure, like like
Well,
throughout time. You know,
Doctor Who is owned by Disney now, isn't he? Uh,
oh,
so
that's
they
not. That's like another nail in the coffin of Doctor Who. Um, sorry, sorry. Um, yeah. Oh well. So yeah, so that was this week. This first part of the week. Go over to Mark's channel. There's some more cool books there, and there's a few like that are Mark's favorites as
we've
well.
got
You gotta.
we've got the bellwether. To be fair,
Yeah,
we haven't had the bellwether for
we have to have it once in a while.
ever.
It's
We sort of probably haven't had it for a month, so
Yeah, it's a thing. I have to put it on when I see it, and and it's one of those ones I didn't put on for a while because I kind of wanted to see how it was going to fare, and people haven't been selling it as much. So go over and see how it fared this week. It's an interesting sale. Definitely check it out on Mark's channel. In the link this in the description. Go over to Mark's channel. Okay, bye
we are talking
everyone.
about Arachnid Fantasy 15.
Yes.
Okay. See you.